But before we begin, I'd like to ask all of you to take a moment and to reflect upon yourselves. The first thought that comes to you right after you wake up. What do you think as the first thing in the morning, right after you wake up? There could be two ways that we do this. One, you're extremely energetic. You can't wait to wake up in the morning. You get up, and then if you are a working professional, you go to office, you do your tasks, you enjoy your work, you improve upon yourself, and then you talk to people, network, talk to your clients, you talk to your co-workers. Towards the end of the day, you'll be just waiting for the next day to begin so that you could do it all together again. If you're a student, you wake up, you're trying to learn new things, you're trying to talk to your teachers, professors, colleagues, finding what else is there for you to learn more and to make yourself better so that you could ace your exams, ace your curriculum. That is one way of entering our day. Second is being apprehensive even to start the day. Dejected. If you're a working professional, you don't want to go to office because the office is full of politics. Co-workers ridicule you, hate what you do as a job. If you're a student, you don't like to go to school. You don't know what you are studying. You don't understand the subject. Teachers hate you. You hate the teachers. That is the second way. Now, if you are a positive person who starts your day positively, I'll share with you the reasons why Toastmasters is the place that you need to be. And if you're a person who's dejected towards life, again, I'll share with you the reasons why you should be in Toastmasters right away, through my experience. And for that, let me ask your permission to take you through my story. And my story, I've titled, though in the flyer it says Journey of a Toastmaster, I want to be a bit catchy. If I could share my screen, Jayapratap. Could you make me the host?
Yes, you can share now.
All right. Okay, this is what I would call my journey into serendipity. Now, for me to start my story, I had to go back 20 years into my childhood. I had a dream, like how Martin Luther King says, I had a dream to become a speaker. I really loved the feeling of standing in front of an audience. I loved when people listen to me. What if it is me who's standing in front of a packed house, the audience applauding me, wanting to hear more of me? That is my dream. That's where I wanted to be. But the problem is, when I could speak, I can speak prepared speeches in front of an audience. But when it came to talking, I could barely do 4 sentences in full before starting to stutter, stammer, choke, and then eventually I'll go cold. This reason made me very scared when it came to talking and speaking in public, especially in the Queen's language. I come from a middle class family. That means my father was a lecturer, my mother was a teacher, first generation professionals. And for them, as well as me, English is the key to success. We come from a society that is structured in such a way where if you fail to speak English, you will eventually, you're doomed to fail in it. That's the social construct that we had in mind. And for me to have that thought was very scary. That also was not a dream, not only a dream to speak in public, was also a key to success, career success, financial success, whatever it be, you had to speak and talk. But I didn't know how I could. I was struggling. I was in a government school where I had no one to speak to, and whenever I spoke, they were only finding fault and ridiculing me for the mistakes that I made. And there were teachers who supported, who wanted me to speak, but inside me, because I was scared of getting ridiculed and getting mocked by my peers, I never tried talking. And because of that, I never was progressing towards my dream, which was to stand in public and give a mesmerizing speech. It slowly kills you when you see that you're not moving towards your dream and that your dream is being lived on by others. You see people speaking on the stage and you admire them, but you also wanted to do the same thing, but you can't. Why? Because you don't have any means to go towards that. It's very a negative feeling to have. I wanted to practice speaking. What I did, we spoke no English at home. It was a rule to speak in Tamil, in my mother tongue. We never spoke in English. Not that we couldn't, we didn't. In school, I couldn't, and wherever I went, I was scared to. What I did, one fine day, I wanted to make a change. I found that my neighbor was having a cable connection. That means in those days, we only had terrestrial TV with antennas. We only had Sirasa, Shakti, MTV was only MTV, TV. But those weren't suitable for children after 11 o'clock in the night. So what I did, I found my neighbor was having a cable connection. I took my TV antenna after 11 o'clock. I put it into his cable line, which was running right adjacent to my house. After everyone slept in my house, I was watching TV. I used to watch Big Bang Theory. I used to watch 2.5 Men. I used to watch Everybody Loves Raymond or Joey. Then I pretended I was part of that show. I started talking to them. I started using the same conversation tone that the people in the show was having, and usually slowly got a hang of it on how to talk. This was towards my O-level times. And for A-levels, I forced my parents to send me to an English-speaking school. I stood on my head and went there, but still I found that I wasn't able to communicate because I was scared of people laughing at me. Then still, because of that internal apprehension, I wasn't progressing. This is one side, was happening on one side, and then I was doing my A-levels. I progressed to university, and I wanted my parents to send me to a foreign university. My parents were cunning. They sent me to India. I was there in India doing mechanical engineering. That's a different story on its own. I joined this university. I was still trying to find myself. My journey, my dream was to become a speaker. Here I was doing mechanical engineering. And I was the first kind of person that I spoke to, where I was dejected, I was apprehensive, I didn't want to go to the classes, I didn't understand what they were teaching, I didn't know what I was doing. And then I found a good friend of mine from a university. Now, both of us never went to class. We were bunking it. We were doing all sorts of things except studying. We used to hang out together most of the time. We used to do all things together except one thing. He was a basketball player. He wakes up at 5 in the morning, no, 4:30 in the morning. He'll go to basketball practice, trains till 8 or 9, will come back to the room, sleep the whole day, and go back at 4, come back at 11 in the night after practice. I was surprised to see he wasn't into studies at all, just like me. But this guy had so much enthusiasm when it came to basketball. And I was like, what is basketball going to help him in life? But because of basketball, he was going to classes and he was playing basketball with the professors. He was making professors his friends. He didn't have to go to classes. He was friends with the seniors. And then he was getting positive things happening to him because of his enthusiasm towards basketball, because he was doing it properly. I thought, what am I doing in my life? I'm in mechanical engineering. My dream was to become a speaker. I wanted to speak, communicate. But what am I doing? That's when I found out about Toastmasters. And me and that fellow, we went to a Toastmasters club that was 25 kilometers away from my university. And it was the first ever Toastmasters meeting I went to. He was with me, and we were called up to speak for table talks. That was our first ever meeting. What happened afterwards, I was so in love because after I spoke, I was given appreciation, positive feedback. I was encouraged to speak more. My mistakes were pointed out to me positively. I found that I could talk confidently in front of these people and to improve myself. And I was already speaking in front of an audience. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream. I was living my dream. That was Toastmasters for me. Then we started our own club in the university. It was February 2016 that I became an official Toastmaster member. Ever since that, I've been speaking at meetings. I've been speaking at every opportunity I could get. Yes, I was living my dream. That was one thing. But because of me speaking and doing what I love in Toastmasters, I've got so many other perks in life. That is what I'm going to share with you as a reason why you should also be in Toastmasters. Confidence, a positive support system, and mentors. Wherever we go, we find ourselves questioning our own abilities in being able to do the task or accomplish the task or to become what we want. And the society around us also is structured in a way they imply their own insecurities onto us. If we find people who are not successful in their lives, they will never approve our approach to become successful. They'll say, no, you don't have that, you don't have the skill, you don't have the ability, no, you can't. In this world, in this country, in this society, we can never make it because we never made it. We are surrounded by an overwhelming amount of negativity. And in that, to find a system where you can boost your confidence, that would really help you grow yourself. That is Toastmasters. And Toastmasters also, my take on it is that it is a very positive environment. Toastmasters by itself says it's a positive learning atmosphere where friends help friends. That is the importance and the value of Toastmasters. Whoever you meet as a Toastmaster, one thing you will identify is that they're always positive. You won't find a negative Toastmaster. Yes, you might find one or two outliers, but they, I'm very sure, wouldn't be experienced Toastmaster or wouldn't have been in the system for so long. Once you find a person who has been in Toastmasters minimum for 2 years, you'll find that they are so positive. They encourage you, they support you. Whatever you go to them with, they'll tell, yes, this can be done. Even if it is going to the moon, they'll not put you down. That is the importance and the value of being in Toastmasters and being a Toastmaster. And last, the mentors. The mentors that you get in life and in Toastmasters will determine how fast or how soon you're going to become what you want to be. Sometimes we would have a dream, we would have a goal, but because of the pollution in the society, the pollution with the negativity, we'll forget, we'll go astray from our goals. And after 5 or 6 years, we'll be like, where am I? Why didn't I do what I wanted to do? That's where mentors will come in helpful. And also the Toastmasters ecosystem will come helpful. And I'll take you through some examples of, because I joined Toastmasters and I found out that I'm really in love with communication and talking and speaking. I took myself from engineering towards psychology. My area right now is how we could communicate and to influence people. Through that, I found certain things where the same thing on this slide is implied by psychology. I'll take you through what the first psychologist told, Alfred Adler. He was an Australian psychologist. He's the person who coined the term inferiority complex. He was the first person who said humans are impacted by how they gauge themselves against others. If you see that you're somewhat lacking in your performances or abilities, that'll show in the way you approach life. And the flip side is superiority complex. Superiority complex is again another way that we try to defend our ego to tell ourselves that no, we are not having inferiority complex. No, that we are not inferior to others. So, but both work in the same way, where we are trying to defend ourselves against our weaknesses. And to come out of it is to create confidence. The confidence, by definition, is identifying what are your weaknesses and strengths, and to work on those strengths to achieve what you want, and also working on those weaknesses so that you don't miss out on anything because of those weaknesses. That's being confident. That's where Toastmasters will come helpful in. It'll make sure that our strengths are emphasized on. At the same time, our weaknesses are told to us in a positive way so that we could improve ourselves. Second is the mentors that we get and the value that they bring in. In psychology, there's a concept called scaffolding and zone of proximal development, which is in scaffolding, they say, Lev Vygotsky, he's a Soviet psychologist, he says, if we are doing something, if we are trying to attempt a task, we will not be 100% an expert in it. If we could have an expert in that subject helping us or hand-holding us, we'll be much more efficient in going to that task's completion. And we'll be doing it more confidently. And throughout time, we'll become an expert and we could do it freely. That's where mentors will come in very helpful, not only in Toastmasters, but also in our career as well. Now, third one is positivity. Now, this is from the black and white psychology. This is a color time file. He's still alive. Means he's talking about how positivity is important for us in our lives. Why we need to engage ourselves with people who are positive, and the value of relationship. His model is called PERMA, which is positive emotions, being engaged in the society and in what we do, having positive, meaningful relationship and meaning in what we do, and also achieving what we want to achieve. How do we get all of that in one place? That's Toastmasters. And Toastmasters is a place where you come, you meet people who are positive, who tell you good things about yourself, who, even if you have made a thundering mistake, still point out it in a very positive way so that you could improve yourself. Will give you meaning and give you accomplishment, from pathways to division contests to division awards. In Toastmasters, you're always recognized for whatever you do. Those are the three technical reasons or technical explanations that I found for the value I got on Toastmasters. Finally, the appreciation, the positive feedback, feeling of belonging is what makes Toastmasters very different to everywhere else. Because of my dream that I wanted to speak in front of an audience, I came into Toastmasters. And I could improve myself on that aspect. But more than that, I've gained so much of value in terms of the way I carry myself. Not only in Toastmasters, but also in the way I work in my office, the way I conduct myself, the way I talk to others. Toastmasters for me is a place where you learn to be the best version of yourself. So that best self you could carry everywhere. I speak and I talk in Toastmasters, but I also, because of the confidence that I got in Toastmasters, I could go out in interviews, in places where I'm supposed to have a negotiation, where people are very negative towards me, when there's even a verbal argument going on. I can take it positively. And that is because of Toastmasters. I can give people positive feedback. Yes, I do get very annoyed when someone's telling a lie to my face in an office meeting, but if I'm to evaluate them, I understand without hurting their ego how I can pass on a negative message to them. That is because of Toastmasters and a feeling of belonging. We all want to be part of this. Humans are a social animal, and sometimes it becomes very lonely. Toastmasters doesn't let that happen. Toastmasters are always there for you. For me, even at the worst times of my life, Toastmasters was there for me. I've gone through, as a country, we've gone through tough times because of the Easter attacks and then the COVID. There were very negative things that happened to all of us. And those times, Toastmasters was very helpful. And my mentors were very helpful. Saturday Circle Toastmasters, my previous clubs, they were helpful. And that is the value that I got from Toastmasters. And again, we are the average of 5 people we associate with. And that in Toastmasters is very valuable because we are having positive people who are successful, who want you to succeed in life, who will always keep on motivating you to go ahead and go do whatever you want to achieve. That will make sure that we achieve what we want to. And for that, it's very important that we surround ourselves with people who are empowering, who are positive, who don't put us down, who don't tell us negative things, who don't question our abilities, and make us feel threatened. That is the value I got from Toastmasters. And that, I'm very sure, is the value that you too could be able to get out of Toastmasters. If you're a student or a working professional or a housewife, anywhere you are in your life, even if you're a positive person, you could come to Toastmasters, make sure that positivity is channeled to the right path so that you could achieve what you want with the mentors, the positive atmosphere, and the confidence that you can get. And if you are having a tough time in your life, you are feeling dejected, Toastmasters could help you gain back that positivity and make sure that you go to where you want. For me, Toastmasters is a place where I found the confidence to be myself. I could go have a discussion with the top personnel in my organization without fearing, which I wouldn't have been able to if I was not in Toastmasters. I still remember Toastmaster Shuo, Toastmaster Shuo. I met him at a Toastmaster, the second Toastmasters meeting I went to. It was at PIM. I was calling Mr. Shuo. He said, "Don't call me Shuo, Mr. Shuo. Call me Shuo." And started talking to him by name. And that's something I still carry on to my organization. There are Toastmasters in my organization who are 5 to 6 steps ahead in career, but still we talk by first name. And that is the conflict. It's not, some people would think of it as arrogance, but no, Toastmasters has told me what is arrogance, what is confidence. That is some of the values that you could also take forward in Toastmasters. And I'm pretty sure that everyone, for Toastmasters, is not a single person's cup of tea. It's everyone's cup of tea. And you'll be able to find yourself also in Toastmasters.